Hello, can you hear me, mate?
Ooh, baby, I am yearning for your touch. I want it all for nothing at all. 'Cause I won't stop now. Ooh, baby, I will hold my ground. No, no, I won't stop now. I'll keep on fighting till your love comes around.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the battle. It is going to be another fantastic weekend of racing in the Spanish F4 Championship 2025. Already, we've had one fantastic weekend over on the first round of the championship a few weeks ago, where we had three competitors battling for supremacy: René Lammers, Thomas Strauven, and Jan Piotrowski. And those three drivers have come to the Circuito de Navarra, set to continue their championship rivalry in 2025. And in the very first race of the weekend, they are in the top three positions of the starting grid. Pole position going the way of the Belgian Griffin Core driver, Thomas Strauven. It'll be very exciting to see if he can convert that into a second race victory of the season. But the three drivers are separated by only a couple of points heading into this first race of the weekend. And it's definitely going to be an exciting and intriguing battle, as the contenders will definitely step up to the plate. And it's not just the top three drivers who have got a say in the matter. Juan Cota is back on pace after a difficult opening round of the championship in terms of raw one-lap speed. And here at the Circuito de Navarra, which of course is owned by Motorsport Vision back in the United Kingdom, this fantastic circuit continues to deliver great action. It was inaugurated and opened back in 2010, purchased by Motorsport Vision only a couple of years ago, and now it is part of the makeup of European motorsport in the same sort of grandeur as the British circuits, part of the Motorsport Vision group, namely Brands Hatch, Donington Park, Snetterton, Alton Park, and of course at the far end of the race circuit in Lincolnshire at Cadwell Park. But the Circuito de Navarra is still a very new one in the world of Spanish motorsport. Only been open 15 years. It has had the GT1 World Championship as well as Super League Formula back in the day, the championship that combined football with motorsport. And there's a lot of interesting battles to come on the circuit that involve absolutely no soccer shorts whatsoever. Thomas Strauven and René Lammers on the front row of the starting grid, Jan Piotrowski and Juan Cota on the second row. Keep an eye on Renault Franco, as he is making great progress for the MP Motorsport KCL satellite team. He'll be there on that next battle of the starting grid, as he lines up in fifth place on the grid alongside the Campos driver Noah Monteiro of Portugal. But the drivers are gearing up, ready for an exciting showcase. The first of three races this weekend, a grand total of an astonishing 31 drivers making up the starting grid. It really is turning into a fantastic outlet for the contingency, as the drivers are gearing up, ready for another exciting battle out on the course. One new face for this particular round of the championship at DXR, Caden Higgins, the UAE-based driver, is going to be joining the fray alongside Suzov in the same team. So it'll be interesting to see how the drivers go. He qualified 25th on the starting grid for his first weekend in the championship. The grid is being cleared, as you can see. So the drivers are just a couple of minutes away from the formation lap here at the Circuito de Navarra. Great to have your company once again, everybody watching along on the stream. And you're going to see some great action. Noah Monteiro, the Skywalker, is there in position. And down in pit lane is Alex Garcia, who can tell us what the atmosphere is like here at the gorgeous Circuito de Navarra circuit. Hola, amigo, how are things?
Hi Jake, happy to be back with you on this sunny Circuito de Navarra. Luckily sunny today, because yesterday you probably saw that on the social media. Rain was wild. It was a crazy downpour, biblical proportions I would say, but luckily today things are much better. We are still expecting rain possibly tomorrow, but for today the weather is behaving. We've had a little bit of a cooler morning, which means that the free practice we had this morning was very different from the conditions that they had in qualifying and the ones that we have now for race one. So conclusions for the race pace and most importantly tire management are limited, which means that we still have some mysteries to unfold in this first race of the weekend. So I think that's pretty interesting that we're going to see ahead of us.
Certainly is indeed. Thanks, Alex. We'll keep up to date with you over the course of the race if we need to. Hopefully not too many visits down to pit road are necessary for this first race of the weekend. But this is a brand new circuit for the championship. Circuito de Navarra, a great opportunity. Many of these drivers will have never even seen this race circuit before, let alone compete in it in racing territory. This will be a fantastic battle for the competitors in the second round of the F4 Spanish Championship here at Navarra. The first race of three, and what an exciting battle it's going to be for victory between the three men who have all tasted a little bit of glory in the first three races of the season. We've got a car stalled on the starting grid. Now that is not good news, so that means that the driver in question will have to start from the pit lane if they can start at all. So we'll try and figure out who it is that's not gone around. But certainly the formation lap begins with only 30 of the 31 cars in the field. So we'll try and identify who it is that has stalled on the grid. It looks like someone relatively high up the grid, I have to say. So we'll try and make out exactly which car it is, trying to make out the number from a distance. Very difficult to see. I think that's the 40, I think that's the 48, is it, of Gino Trappa of the Drivex Racing team. I'll confirm, but it looks to me like that might be the Argentine Gino Trappa, who's ended up stalling on the grid there in 14th on the grid. So that's very unfortunate if that is the case. But we will confirm it before we go into the race. So a very exciting battle awaits us then. 30 minutes plus the additional lap for the first race of the weekend. 25 points on offer for our race victor as well. And a starting grid full of talent. Thomas Strauven and René Lammers lining up on the front row of the starting grid for Griffin Core and MP Motorsport. The same two teams will show the second row of the grid as well for the Polish driver Jan Waszczowski alongside the Spanish King of Valencia, Juan Cota, who won all three of his races. Down in pit lane, we can confirm it is Gino Trappa. So unfortunately, a big mistake for him stalling the car. Whether that was his problem or whether it was a mechanical issue, we're still yet to find out. But now his car is being manoeuvred into position at the end of the pit lane so that he can take the start from the pit lane if he is able to. So Thomas Strauven and René Lammers, front row of the grid. Jan Waszczowski and Juan Cota on the second row. Then Renault Franco and Noah Montero on the third row. Ian Eichmans of Belgium alongside the Brazilian Miguel Costa. Then Matas Reiber and Chris El Fagali, the Lebanese driver for the Red Bull Junior program. Then Vivek Kanthan alongside Nathan Tai, former karting rivals those two. Andrei Petrovic and Gino Trappa, who of course now has to start the race from the pit lane. 15th on the grid for Alfio Spina alongside Hudson Schwartz. Then Filippo Fiorentino and Lorenzo Campos. Nicolas Schaufler, very difficult qualifying for him yesterday, only 19th on the grid alongside Francisco Monarca. Then Santino Benetta alongside Sasha Van Bad Bosch. Then Bastarika and Tunion, Higgins and Suzdov, Dalakian and Kyohuli from Dobzhansky, Alexander Begonovic and Alexander Jacobi taking up position at the back of the grid. The last few cars are in position and we are ready for the start of the first race of the three here this weekend. The course car at the back of the field ready in position. The drivers will get the signal and the green flag at the back of the field to signal that the other 30 drivers in the field are ready. Drivex team are ready to give Gino Trappa the start. The green flag flies in the back of the grid. The lights will come on, and when they are extinguished, we will be racing for the first of three races in the second round of F4 Spain 2025. Let's race in Navarra! Good start from René Lammers, looking likely to draw level with Thomas Strauven as they head for the first right-hander. Little bit of wayward running across to the pit lane exit, but René Lammers is going to come in to the inside line, and he gets there ahead of Thomas Strauven. So an excellent start for René Lammers as he goes into the lead as the field works its way up the hill. But René Lammers has got in front of Thomas Strauven. Jan Waszczowski is still there in third position. It's Renault Franco, I think, who's worked his way to fourth place. The Drivex team are desperately trying to start Gino Trappa's car, but the marshals are telling him, look, it's not going to happen. So your race is over, sunshine. That is a disaster for the Argentine Gino Trappa, but he is not getting started. So I think his race is well and truly finished. There's a lot of battles on this first lap already. Is out in front. No worries at all for the fast-starting Dutchman, René Lammers, who has hit the front in this race. Second position, giving chase big time. Strauven in front of Waszczowski. Then Juan Cota, who's worked beautifully off the line in the 22 car. Renault Franco just in behind him in the satellite KCL MP squad. Then Eichmans, who's made a terrific start up to P6 in front of Montero, Reiber, El Fagali and Nathan Tai. Another good start from the British driver as the field goes wheel to wheel through the left-hand hairpin. Chris El Fagali trying to get his weight thrown around in there. Nicolas Schaufler has made a reasonably good start as well, up 3 places from his original grid position as they work their way up the far side of the course. Now they're going to go up towards the tight right-hander. That takes them back into the tight section of the course and slingshots them through the left-hander. Fast, rapid apex this, and then onto the last turn that brings them back onto the home straight again. 17 corners for the lap here at Navarra. And as they cross the line, it is Lammers who leads the way. Strauven in second place. Couple of drivers running wide out of the final turn, not really giving each other a lot of space. Couple of bits of dust kicked up, but it's Lammers who leads from Strauven, Waszczowski, Cota, Franco. Eichmans now P6 in front of Montero, leading the rookies race in front of Reiber, Tai, Spina, Costa and El Fagali. So the Drivers fly through the first couple of corners. They'll go up towards turn 4. The first sector of the lap, actually fairly similar to the Portimao circuit in the Autodromo Algarve before it settles itself out and takes on its own unique character. Takes a long gyration to the left here as they go uphill through the camber, then kicks out to the right. Good race so far between Cota and Franco as they try and close up with a little bit of persuasion from Ian Eichmans in the red MP car. Very unusual to have a red MP, but Ian Eichmann's sponsorship deal has given him a different livery compared to the rest of his teammates. And there is Juan Cota working his way forward, and the Drivex team have finally given up the ghost with Gino Trappa. They pulled him back to the garage. Sorry, mate, we can't get you racing. So a very crestfallen Argentine is not going any further in this race, I'm afraid. Back to the circuit. Lammers, Strauven, Piotrowski, Cota, and then Renault Franco really having to deal with Ian Eichmans here. The Belgian is putting him under a lot of pressure through the S's. And as they come up to turn 15, this tight hairpin into the right-hander. That takes them back up towards this very fast left-hand kink. And then they will finish off the lap with another tight section. This is the very tight right-hand hairpin that brings them back onto the lap. A very rare thing in this particular circuit, that you're going to get an awful lot more battles out of that final corner. Drivers prepared to give each other a little bit of room on the second lap compared to what they did on the first. But Lammers, Strauven, who now has the fastest lap of the race, by the way, Piotrowski, Cota, Franco and Eichmans. The fastest rookie is Noah Montero, trying to close up on Ian Eichmans, and he had a little bit of clear track in order to try and close up on the Belgian. So far, so good, as the Spanish F4 field have kept themselves pretty much out of harm's way so far. No safety car in the first 2 laps, so that bodes well for the rest of this encounter. And I spoke too soon. Can't believe I literally said no safety car in the first 2 laps. I was right, but now it looks like we're going to get one in the 3rd lap. Monlau Motorsports' Alexander Jacobi has gone off on the 2nd lap. He's not completed the course. I think that might even be the final corner of the circuit. Alexander Jacobi's gone off there. So I'm afraid to say that Jacobi is out of the race. He's quite a long way in the gravel trap though, but it still gives us a safety car as Alexander runs from the scene. I do think that's the final corner that he's gone off. It was full course yellow initially, and it's gone to safety car. So they've obviously got to extract that car from the position. The gorgeous Toyota Supra that they have as a safety car here at Circuito de Navarra is now utilised on lap number 3. Well, I spoke too soon. Thought we were going to get away without the need for a safety car in the first race of the weekend. Unfortunately, that idea was short-lived. So now Alexander Jacobi has got to get himself back to the pits at the end of the race. The safety car is out to collect the field, and it'll be Lammers from Strauven, Piotrowski and Juan Cota. Renault Franco in 5th position in front of Eichmans, Montero and Matis Reiber, with Nathan Tai and Alfio Spida having to give chase. Now, in the 2025 championship, of course, after the first round, we've got a very close battle for the championship fight. Strauven came into this weekend with 45 points. 43 for Piotrowski, 42 for Lammers. Down in the pits, Alex Garcia is at Drivex. What can you tell us about the problems for Gino Trappa?
Well, Jake, obviously, you've seen what happened. Gino was originally on the grid, on his usual spot or his expected spot, but there was some kind of mechanical issue that stopped him from getting away on the warm-up lap, but unfortunately that problem has prevented him from starting the race. So you're seeing the team working right now on the car behind me, and well, we've seen them connecting the computers to the car, so they were clearly checking some electronic stuff. I cannot tell, of course, what the problem is, but it is clearly a problem from the machine rather than the driver. So it's unfortunate because, of course, it's the first race of the weekend. So for any driver starting with misfortune is never a good thing. But there's always a silver lining, which is there's 2 more races tomorrow, and this is going to be probably a good option to come back with probably a lot more hunger to do well, especially because Gino had done decent qualifying, so would have been nice to see him trying his luck today. But it is what it is, motorsport's that way sometimes.
Gracias, Alex. Yeah, it's a very frustrating situation for Gino Trappa. 14th position on the grid. He was meant to go from the 7th row. Has the Drivex team given you any indication as to whether they're planning to get him back out on the circuit again albeit a few laps down. Will they try and get the car working in the race itself?
Not as far as we know, because also Gino has already exited the car and he's already left to the back of the pit lane. So in theory, they're not going to try that. But as you know, if they were able to fix this quickly enough, then it might be worth to try and get at least 2 or 3 laps to make sure that the car is properly fixed and it's in order for tomorrow. But I don't expect them to actually pull that out.
Okay, gracias, Alex. Unfortunate situation for the Drivex team and Gino Trapper. We've got a car stopped on the main straight now as well. So a very bizarre situation on the way down to turn 1. So we've got a car completely stationary. Now, that is a mad situation. You may need to be on standby down in pit lane, Alex, because we've got another car that is being recovered on the race circuit itself. It's just stopped. That looks like Santino Panetta, I think, in the TC Racing car that's going absolutely nowhere. Now, that is so bizarre. I've never seen a car just completely parked. I wonder if he stalled the engine behind the safety car. That is a very strange scenario. That means we've got another recovery job, as well as Alexander Jacobi's car. We've got another car that's basically come to a stop at the end of that start-finish straight. I do think that's Santino Panetta, stopped in the first sector, so big disaster for the Thibaut Courtois Racing team. One driver down. So a very bizarre situation. You don't get too many cars dropping out behind safety car because normally they're not going fast enough to have any kind of issues. There's Jacobi's car being manoeuvred, and in the far distance you can see that now the crews are getting a recovery job for Santino Panetta of the TC Racing team. What a bizarre start to the weekend here in the F4 Spanish Championship, to have 3 cars out already. Gino Trapper failing to take the start in the Drivex. Alexander Jacobi off the circuit at the end of lap 2. And behind the safety car, a technical problem for the TC Racing car of Santino Panetta. Well, very bizarre situation. The recovery crews, fortunately, here at Motorsport Vision, are going to be able to move that car relatively quickly, I would imagine. But that is definitely not the way that the Argentine Santino Panetta wanted his race to end. It's not going well for the Argentine racers here in the championship, is it? So a very poor start for Gino Trapper and Santino Panetta. They wanted a little bit more from this weekend. There is what's left of Gino Trapper's car. And you can see in the background there, Alex Garcia reporting for Spanish television what is going on, because we have 2 mutual broadcast feeds at the same time, one for English and one for Spanish. So Alex Garcia doing a far better job than I ever could, because I can only talk about this stuff in 1 language. Fair play to Alex, who can do it in 2. So Santino Panetta's car manoeuvred out of harm's way at the marshal post at turn 1. And hopefully that's a fairly quick extrication. So we should, all being well, be able to restart at the end of this race. You've got to feel for the guys at Drivex who are desperately trying to figure out what is wrong with Gino Trapper's car. Went to the grid okay, even did the reconnaissance laps okay, but now being sat idle on the grid, something has failed in the Drivex number 48, and they have decided to go around again because of the time it takes to reset the course cars back into their original positions. So although the drivers are able to run on a clear track now, the recovery vehicles are not in their original reset position, so you can't start the race until they are back in position. It's going to be a long race for the Drivex team now, because all they've got in the race is Chris Alfagali and Filippo Fiorentino. They are 1 car down, and that's going to cause them a bit of a headache, as it will too for the Manlao Motorsport team, because they've lost Alexander Jacobi from their lineup. That means that they've only got Lorenzo Campos and Francisco Monarca in their particular squad now for the rest of this race. And there's also some long faces at Thibaut Courtois Racing, the TC Racing team, because now they've only got Santiago Bastarica, who is in their car down in 27th position, and Alfio Spina, who has just cracked the top 10. So the Italian is giving them something to smile about at the very least. If he can stay there, then Alfio Spina is going to get a championship point. Same point scoring system as it is in Formula 1 in race 1. 30 minutes plus 1 lap. Of course, there are fewer points on offer for race number 2. That is a very long-faced Gino Trapper. Can't quite believe that his day has come to an end before he's even got the chance to go around the course. That is cruel, cruel luck. There is Chris Alfagali, the Red Bull Junior, currently tucked up behind Miguel Costa, trying to get himself onto the rookie podium at the very least. And if he can, he'll try and crack the top 10 positions as well. Both of which are doable, both of which are achievable. So now there are 28 cars left in this race out of the 31 that should have started. Lights out on the safety car. That's good news for us. Safety car will be in this lap. So now we get to talk about some racing under green flag conditions once again. And the F4 Spanish Championship will continue with René Lammers in the lead, Straven in second, Petrovski, his Griffincourt teammate, in third. They come off the final turn. René Lammers has hit the throttle, so now he's led the charge forward. Very unfortunate. Alex Jacobi is also standing, I should say, in the pits, watching the race, rolling his eyes, can't believe he doesn't get to be in this race. But as you can see, René Lammers has gone for it as they now head up towards the final turn, into the right-hand hairpin and onto the main straight once again. And so, in the first race of the weekend here at Circuit de Navarra, we are back under racing. We are green, 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 green here at Navarra. And Lammers leads Straven, Petrovski and Juan Cota, then Franco, Eichmann, Montero, Matas Reiber doing well in 8th place in front of Nathan Ty and Alvio Spina, then Miguel Costa and Chris Alfagali. Still, the drivers trying to find that little bit more out of their cars. They were still in tyre warm-up phase when we went to safety car, so a lot of drivers will try and find a little bit more out of the cars now that they've got a little bit of cool down. This will be good for tyre management, of course, because those 3 laps that they spent under the safety car will actually give us a lot more work out of the tyres. So obviously they came out on lap number 4, the safety car, and they ran for 3 laps. We're now on lap 7. Lammers trying to pull away from Straven and Petrovski, but those two are actually working together to close up on the Dutchman. And watch out for Cota and Franco in the MP Motorsport and KCL MP cars. Cota actually feeling he has to defend a little bit there from the Dutchman Renault Franco into the right-hander. So interesting situation. Incident in turn 17 is going to be investigated after the session, by the way. They were running down the back straight there up towards turn 9 into turn 11 through the hairpin, which changes in camber on the way through. Out through the flick at 12. Lammers now goes through 13. Right-hander, 14. Left-hander. Takes a little bit of a tighter time line, and then up to 15. A little bit of pressure on Straven from Petrovski now. So Jan Petrovski, the former junior European karting champion in the FIA karting paddock, doing a grand job, the pole, really putting pressure on the Belgian Thomas Straven. This is looking quick from Petrovski, and he needs to do something about this because he's got a lot of pressure from Cota and Franco. So he's got to make the overtake before they get him up to turn 1. And Straven is desperately trying to protect the inside line and hold on to second place. Victory looks certain to be gone as René Lammers is stretching away. Petrovski is going to try and go from far side to inside to tuck back in for the inside line for turn 2. They're going to go side by side as Jan Petrovski is desperate to try and get ahead of Thomas Straven. They work very closely together, and I think that's the move done, isn't it? Is that Petrovski in front? Yes, it is. So Petrovski has got the move. Now Straven is going to try and attack him into the next left-hander. They've just about left each other enough space there, but Straven's still got room on the inside line to play with. Petrovski, however, protects the inside line on the next adjacent corner, and they've lost so much ground to René Lammers. It's good enough for B2 for Petrovski, but he's only got 14 minutes now to catch up to Lammers, and he's too busy defending at the moment. Ian Eichmann is all over the back of Franco. Cota is all over the back of both of these two, who nearly tagged together into the braking zone. Millimeters between their wheels at the braking zone. They give each other enough space. But this is the race for second place now. It's not a race for the victory anymore. Up to the hairpin. Petrovski's got to slow the car down as right round the outside. Juan Cota is challenging Thomas Straven as Eichmann is challenging Franco, with Montero getting his nose into the mix as well. No change of position, but there's a lot of furore around these guys now. They want to get on with it. There's gusto and determination. Big dive up the inside from Franco. He takes on his teammate, and Montero takes on Eichmann's. So Franco has got ahead of Juan Cota, and Montero has been challenging Eichmann's, but he's not been able to get through. And there's a big pressure move coming from further back. As up the inside, that's another of the Griffincourt cars. That's Matas Reiber dueling wheel to wheel with Noah Montero, and he's got in front. So Petrovski up to second, Reiber up to 7th, Montero's down to 9th now behind the Rodin of Nathan Ty, and side by side, that's going to be Cota versus his teammate, Renault Franco. There's nothing in it. They are desperately trying to leave each other enough room whilst also giving nothing to each other. That's Juan Cota remaining in front at the moment for Renault Franco. Such a tough race between these two. No, Franco in front, sorry. Franco did get the move on Cota. Cota now trying to get him back again as they go up the hill. But the Dutchman, Renault Franco, has made his mark, and the number 11 is now in front of the number 22. So the Dutchman, Renault Franco, in the KCL satellite car, has got ahead of the MP main team of Juan Cota. They come off the turn at 8, down the back straight, and they're still squabbling. This time Ian Eichmans is going to try on Juan Cota. Cota's going to protect the inside line at turn 9 for dear life. Eichmans is going to throw his car right round the outside. Cota's not going to leave him any room. Eichmans is going to go off the road and then keep his car on the track, then commit around the outside to try and dive in for the inside at 11. Is this going to work for Eichmans? We're going to look back and see if it's the red car that comes through first or the orange car of Juan Cota. But I think it's going to be Juan Cota who gets there first. A couple of issues with our cameras, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll reset themselves. But look, Eichmans is there with pressure from Juan Cota around the outside. But Eichmans completes the move, then drifts out wide. Cota trying to tuck back in, they bang wheels. And Eichmans somehow stays in front of Juan Cota. Just about squeezes in, but Cota is not prepared to give best to the Belgian. And Cota gets back up the inside line. They both go off the road. Eichmans is not happy. And now they've got pressure alongside them as Matthias Reiber fancies his chances of getting past both of them. 3 cars wide, down to turn 1. Eichmans, Cota, Reiber. Someone's got to yield here. 3 cars wide is not possible, surely, but it is. And Matthias Reiber sweeps past both of them with now pressure from Nathan Ty in the road in, trying to sweep in. This is magnificent. Some of the best racing we've ever seen in Spanish F4 as Nathan Ty now picks up the pieces round the outside of Cota and Eichmans to get into P6. Brilliant work from the Englishman. But there's still more pressure coming as that is Noah Montero in the Campos trying to get underneath Ian Eichmans to get through to the inside. And there's Alfio Spina in the TC racing car running around the outside of Montero. Amazing racecraft here in Spanish F4. Great respect between the drivers. They are absolutely giving no holds barred here to the inside line, into the hairpin now. Ian Eichmans has a chance here to shake off Alfio Spina in the TC racing car. Absolutely incredible how these guys are going wheel to wheel. Hell for leather in the F4 Spanish Championship. No quarters asked, none given. And side by side again, that's Eichmans versus Spina with the door left wide open for Montero to try and get his nose back on the inside line. Magic! Marcel Fagali now in front of Hudson Schwartz and Miggy Costa. Petrovic, Canthan, Schaufler, Lorenzo Campos and Francisco Mararca in the list. Then Fiorentino, Shuzlov, Van Perbosch and Nashatunion. Doesn't have to be raced in the front. Absolutely amazing all the way through. Magnificent, great drama between the competitors on the outer end of the top 10. And now we've got another great shot here. Hudson Schwartz is going to have to try and shake off Miggy Costa down the main straight. Side by side again as we got Alfio Spina trying to get alongside Ian Eichmans. This Circuito de Navarra circuit is magic for F4 Spanish Championship racing. As meanwhile Nathan Ty is going to get some pressure again from Juan Cota. Cota tries to dive in up the inside into turn 3. Is that going to be enough for Cota? It is! Beautiful from Juan Cota. Excellent bit of driving there from the Spanish home charge on home soil. He may be a Valencia boy, but I tell you what, he really has made a beautiful move there here in Navarra. So now we watch further back as we've got Montero, Eichmans, Alfa Gali now into the top 10 in front of Alfio Spina, but it's brief because Alfio Spina's got back in front and now Hudson Schwartz diving up the inside of Alfa Gali. Good move from the American. Has he finished that off? Oh yes, he has. But now he's got pressure because Petrovic is trying to get into the battle. Watch out for the other Red Bull car joining the fray. That's Nicholas Schaufler, the Austrian. He wants a piece of this. As we watch the Richard Mille car of Ian Eichmans trying to get away from Alfio Spina. In spite of all of this, we've got René Lammers out in front by a second and a half to Jan Piotrowski, the pole. That leading battle has pretty much gone under the radar now. But I will tell you that Piotrowski has dropped Thomas Strauven now. And Piotrowski is actually closing up on the race leader, René Lammers. So we could still see another interesting battle for the victory before the end of the race. We've got 8 minutes, and Piotrowski's got 1.2 seconds to make up on René Lammers. So this race may not be done yet. Certainly in the midfield, it's anybody's guess. It's every driver for themselves at the moment. Still a lot of great activity, a lot of battles all the way through. No ladies in the field on this particular occasion because our female contingent, Emma Felbermeyer, is currently out in Miami, prioritising on her F1 Academy programme. Down to the inside line, this could get a little bit feisty. Up to the first corner, we've got drivers just in behind. Nicholas Schaffler. That's Petrovic Campos and Vivek Canthan, the American. Canthan's going to get a run on the inside here of the Angolan Lorenzo Campos. So that should be enough to get an overtaking move done there. Looked like he set him up nicely through 2 to finish off the move into 3. I think he did manage to complete that move, so good work there from the American Vivek Canthan. Bit of a slide from Hudson Schwartz. As now Nicholas Schaffler has got himself up to 14th. He's made up 5 places. His next challenger is going to be the Brazilian Miguel Costa. And look, Petrowski has got that gap down to just a second to René Lammers. Thomas Strauven, meanwhile, has set the fastest lap of the race. So this is definitely not done yet here. A 1:46.564 from Thomas Strauven. The best lap that René Lammers has managed is a 1:46.8. So it looks like René Lammers may have pushed his tyres a little bit too hard here. Petrowski and Strauven are definitely giving chase. Petrowski's got the gap down to less than a second with 6.5 minutes to go. Lammers is going to have to go to Defensville if he wants to stay in the lead of this race. Petrowski is trying to book a hotel in Movetown. He wants to move into the lead of the race here. Working his way through out of 16 up towards turn 17. Renato Franco has dropped the rest of the field. Matus Reiber, P5. This is easily the best we've seen from Matus Reiber in Spanish F4. Great progress that he's made over the last couple of weeks. And great work from Reiber. The victory in rookie is anybody's guess as well now, because Montero and Eichmanns are in 8th and 9th, and they are fighting over the rookie win. But we've still got Chris Alfagali, Miguel Costa, and Nicholas Schaffler in that battle, and so too, of course, is Vivek Canthan all the way back in 16th, but in 6th in the rookie category. If those guys keep squabbling, the rookie victory could go anybody's way. And the back stretch, up towards turn 5, uphill, carry on through 6, tighten the radius, another uphill climb through 7, and that's where the circuit starts becoming dissimilar from Portimao. Onto the back straight. This is a long back straight, not as long as the main start-finish straight, mind you, but it certainly reveals wounds as Petrowski has got that gap down to 0.6 of a second now between himself and René Lammers with 5 minutes to go. The Pole has got time to get himself back into the lead of this race. So René Lammers is in dire straits here, leading in front of Petrowski and Strauven, the original pole sitter, of course, Thomas Strauven. He's now sitting back in 3rd position, having a watching brief to see what occurs. This is going to be fascinating. Petrowski has done a lot of hard work here. He's still catching Lammers. Sector by sector, he's getting closer and closer. Half a second is all that's there now, in through turn 15. Petrowski could get a run into turn 3 on this lap. He's certainly close enough to Lammers. Definitely finding a lot more pace in his car. I would give him some grace on lap 14 and suggest that maybe he'll go for the move on 15, but he might get a chance here out of the final turn, just on slipstream. And Lammers knows he's coming. He's trying to shake off the pole. Down to turn 1. And yeah, Petrowski is really putting the pressure on. You can see how close the battles are further down the field. Everybody wants a piece of the action here. This Circuito de Navarra circuit really has given the drivers plenty to talk about. 0.4 of a second is now the gap. Petrowski is right on the leader. Dropping down the crest, up towards turn 5. Throw the car in, keep it steady through 6. Petrowski is really sizing up the move here. It's less than 0.3 now between the two, and Petrowski is dialing in a move. Now he's got to think about where René Lammers is going to put the car. Down the back straight, he'll have his first proper run at him, but he knows that Lammers is going to hug the inside line like a granny he hasn't seen for months. Down to the inside line. Well, Lammers has managed to stretch out enough of a car length that he doesn't have to worry about Petrowski diving in at the hairpin at turn 9. So now he's got to dial him in again. Wait for another opportunity. There's plenty that could still happen in the next 3 minutes. Petrowski has invested in the car, invested in his tyres to get right tucked in behind the Dutchman. René Lammers is going to be running fiercely on these last couple of laps because he knows that Jan Petrowski is going to be all over him. Up to turn 15, tied in through the hairpin. picking his moment. Petrovsky is just studying where Lammers is placing the car through 16. He's got such a faster package underneath his right foot. He's going to dive in the final corner to try and get ahead of René Lammers. There's enough room for the two of them to go side by side. Lammers is going to get on the power fractionally quicker than Petrovsky, but now the pole has told his rival his statement of intent. There's nothing in it down to turn 1. Petrovsky trying to go the long way round, and Takahaki around the outside. He's done it! He's done it around the outside of turn 1. Incredible from the pole. As they go out of turn 3, Jan Petrovsky has stolen the lead from Lammers, but Lammers is back to the inside into turn 4. He takes back the advantage. Great racing between these two. They go up the hill, through 5, through 6 to left. Petrovsky has shown his first decent hand of cards to René Lammers, and the Dutchman's been able to fight back. But will he be able to sustain this? The more he fights, the more he exerts the tyres, and the more pressure he puts on himself. Petrovsky will come at him again down the back straight. You've got to move quick here, René. Yeah, and he's going to be all over him. He doesn't go for the move on the hairpin. I thought he might have done there, but he thinks better of it. He feels a better move might be on at turn 11, but he's not going to be close enough. He might get another shot into the final hairpin, but he's got to read the race. Got to get back in behind the rear wing of René Lammers. He's really strong at this part of the course. He can rely upon his own judgment through these turns. Through the right, through the left, up towards turn 15 again. This is where Jan Petrovsky really makes his time. We've got just over a minute left, so when they cross the line, it will be the penultimate lap. Can Jan Petrovsky, the Polish star, overturn the lead battle that René Lammers, the Dutchman, has held on to for so long in this race? Out of the final turn, charging down the straight, and René Lammers versus Jan Petrovsky. He's going to have the slipstream. We're on to the penultimate lap now, into lap number 17. Into lap number 16, I should say, sorry. Petrovsky hustling Lammers into turn 1. Strauven's there, so is Franco. Cota's a long way back and back into 5th position, having worked his way back ahead of Ryber, Tai and Montero. Side by side again. Petrovsky at turn 3, but Lammers protects into 4. He doesn't mind Petrovsky getting up the inside of him into turn 3 because he can retaliate in turn 4 beautifully. So now Jan Petrovsky's got to try a different tactic because René Lammers has caught him out of the same place twice now. Is that all you've got, Jan? Come on, come up with a better move. I've already figured you out on these first couple of corners. Let's see what you've got down the back straight. Time runs down to 0. So it's a race back to the line and then one more lap. And watch out for Strauven. He still has the fastest lap of the race, don't forget. So he's got a quick car underneath him as well. And if those two start battling with Lammers, then Renault Franco might get a chance of something. The other Dutchman is there in 4th position. So plenty can still happen in this last lap and a half. To the hairpin at 11. Tighten the radius, open out. Now Petrovsky's actually a little further back than he was on the previous 2 laps. So I wonder if Petrovsky is just taking a couple more car legs to give himself a little bit more breathing space. Maybe he wants to finish the job off more concisely. Up to 15, turns into the hairpin. Flashing lights on the back of his car, that's interesting. Not entirely sure why that was the way it was for Jan Petrovsky. The lights go out again. But now they come out of the final turn and down the home stretch once more as we go into the last lap of racing here in race 1 of the 2nd round of the 2025 F4 Spanish Championship certified by the FIA. René Lammers, Jan Petrovsky, then Thomas Strauven and Renault Franco giving chase. Behind is Juan Cota, good recovery from him in P5. Then Matas Ryber, Nathan Tai, Noah Montero, Ian Eichmans, and the final point looks like it is going to go to Alfio Spina. Now, René Lammers has read the race well to keep Jan Petrovsky at bay. Petrovsky's had to close back up on the Dutchman. But has he got enough time? He's got to try something on this final lap. Lammers is not going to be allowed to run away with it. There's not been a single boring F4 Spanish Championship race this year. They've all been classics. And this one has been one of the most classic that we've seen for a long time. Back straight. Could be the last chance for Petrovsky, and he knows it. Lammers will be looking in his wing mirror every 2 seconds to see where Petrovsky's going to go. Petrovsky puts his car slightly off the line to hint to Lammers that he might go for it, but Lammers wasn't born yesterday. He knows that Petrovsky will be compromised if he dive bombs him on turn number 9. He's not close enough at turn 11. This is a qualifying lap needed now for René Lammers. Shrovsky is very quick out of this part of the course. He's going to need a brave lunge into the final turn, and I think Lammers knows it's coming. He's close enough to make a big launch on the brakes. So Lammers has got to try and pull away. He's doing the best he can. He's saved his tyres, and now he's trying a push lap at the final turns. But Piotrowski has got the left and the right to race back to the line. It's going to be close. Piotrowski's not close enough for the dive bomb. I don't think he's going to get there. Lammers can protect, though. He defends a little bit more eagerly than he could do. Now it's going to be a race to the line. Checkered flag is waving. It's going to be a drag race. Who's going to get there first? It's going to be René Lammers. He'll hold on for Piotrowski. Strauben in third position from Renault Franco and Juan Cota. What a great race to the finish line. As right the way to the checkered flag, there's battles all the way down the field as Noah Montero picks up the rookie victory side by side with Ian Eichmans. What a great race all the way through the field. Absolutely fantastic. Just one retirement under those green flag conditions. That was Lorenzo Campos, sadly the Angolan, as the remaining 27 cars in this race get to the finish line. Sadly, Bastarica is going to be off the tail of the field. But what an opening race to the weekend in the F4 Spanish Championship. That was mighty good racing. 0.2 of a second between Lammers and Piotrowski. What a season we are going to have in 2025. Right, interestingly, there's going to be some scrutineering work to do at the end of the race. Of course, the top 10 cars that cross the line will be the ones that go straight to scrutineering. In fact, my apologies, it's the top 7 cars in the main race and then the top 3 cars in the rookie category. They will all go straight to scrutineering. But it's a victory for René Lammers in the main race, and in the rookie race, it's Noah Montero. The sons of Formula One drivers take both the overall and the rookie victory as the legacies continue in the F4 Spanish Championship. What a great opening race to the weekend. And I have to say, Circuito de Navarra, if you want a permanent place on this calendar, I'm not going to object. What a great place for racing. It certainly suits the F4 Spanish Championship to a T. And we've had some amazing duels around this place in the last half an hour, as the drivers now cruise back to the pits. What a sensational battle. Now, apparently the track limit system operating tells us that the results may change in race control. So all of these results are provisional. But what a race it was. Absolutely brilliant. And certainly René Lammers opens his account for the weekend with his second official victory of the season. He had one of his victories at the opening round of the championship taken away from him with a penalty post-race. But the championship continues with rock and roll attitude as Alex Garcia is down in pit lane to greet our top 3 drivers. Number 23, Jan Piotrowski finishing in second position, alongside him his teammate Thomas Strauben in third. Noah Montero picking up the rookie victory ahead of Ian Eichmans, and also on the rookie podium will be the Red Bull Junior Chris El Fagali. But the victor, after a fantastic race in the Racing Team Nederland colours as well as the MP Motorsport colours, it's an all Dutch flavour at the top step of the podium in race 1 here in Navarra, and it's yet another son of a Dutch racing legend. In Formula 1 we have a 4-time champion, Max Verstappen, son of Jos. In F4 Spanish Championship begins the era of René Lammers, the son of Le Mans 24-hour winner Jan Lammers. Very happy René Lammers gets out of the car after a fabulous defence, worthy of Ajax. There is Jan, his father, the first one to greet him after an incredible race. Great job for the MP driver. Excellent start to the weekend. There is his mother, giving him a fantastic congratulations. What a great result for René Lammers. Excellent start to the weekend. 2 more tomorrow, of course. It's going to be a really interesting battle that we have tomorrow. René Lammers with a cool hairstyle. Looks even cooler having just got out of the car. But of course, he's got a little bit of media duty to do first. He's got to have a conversation with Alex Garcia. Hopefully we'll get a chance to hear from him. Thomas Strauben I think he'll be disappointed with that. Third position after starting from pole. Picked up silverware, but the pace just didn't quite seem good enough over a long race period, despite setting the fastest lap of the race. He's talking quite animated there with his engineers, trying to figure out where the victory fell away from him. Pole position and fastest lap, but he didn't come up with a win. But this man did. René Lammers is with Alex Garcia.
Well, we spoke of rock and roll attitude for this field in Spanish Formula 4 Championship. I think this was more like hard rock. René, that was amazing. How does one keep the calm when you're fighting so close to your rival, as you are now congratulating? How does one keep the calm in that fight?
Yeah, I mean, luckily we got a bit of a gap in the beginning after the safety car restart, and then in the end we struggled a lot with degradation on the tires and we lost a lot of pace, but I think I managed to do a great job to keep him behind me, and then me and the team managed to get a great result today, so very happy with this.
And of course we have to speak about the number of race wins, you know, on the flag, because even though things have happened afterwards, you have crossed the finish line first on more occasions than anyone this season. How does that give you confidence for the next few races and of course the next few rounds in this year?
Yeah, I mean, to win the last 3 races on track gives me a lot of confidence. And it also shows that we're right in the mix to win this championship. So that's my goal, and hopefully we can manage to do it together.
So it seems that tomorrow there might be a possibility of rain. Any expectations for that? Any feelings about the rain? Do you feel confident considering yesterday's running?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind a little bit of rain. You know, yesterday we were really strong in the rain, so I wouldn't mind a bit of rain tomorrow, but we'll see what the weather brings us.
So for now, time to enjoy some sparkling rain. Congratulations, enjoy the win.
Thank you very much.
So those were the words of the, as I said, hard rock winner today here in Spanish Formula 4 Championship. And that was one hell of a first race for the weekend.
And a very good point you made there as well, Alex. 3 times out of 4 now, René Lammers has taken the victory. Okay, officially it's only twice, but that does tell us that he's certainly come out of the blocks after last year as a rookie into this year as a full-time driver. No longer a novice, but he really has got the form. Is this something that we think that can last the whole season? Will the other drivers have the chance to take him on again?
We know that Formula 4 is a class that is usually very tight in terms of gaps. We've seen that in qualifying today. We've seen that all season so far. So it's hard to say that if he's going to be able to keep up things until the end of the year. I am reminded of last year, Keanu Al-Azari, for example. He started off super strongly, and as the season went on, he slowly started struggling a little bit more against his rivals, and we saw how the season ended with Mattia Colnaghi, of course, taking that title, and also with Maciej Gradic being a factor in many of the races. So what we know is that he's a good start, he's got a lot of points, and that will fill him with confidence, but that's all the extent of what we can say now. So I would wait at least until tomorrow. Let's see how that goes, depending on whether there's rain or not. And maybe a third round will give us a little bit more information. After that, I think we can start to consider things that are starting to settle a little bit more.
We've seen a lot as well in various rounds of last year's championship. All it takes is one mistake, one spin, one DNF, and the championship can blow wide open. At this early stage of the season, coming into the weekend, we only had 3 points separating the top 3 drivers. There's a great opportunity with the rain coming tomorrow. This is surely going to be a chance for the likes of Thomas Straven or Jan Bashrovsky to move forward. So we've got to take an eye on that. Thank you, Alex. Great to talk with you. And I'm sure that you'll want a nice, decent rest ahead of tomorrow's great action. Rain or no rain, we're in for a great Sunday.
Thank you very much, Jake. Looking forward to it. And I felt a disturbance in the force. I think you were spying on me before. So greetings from my back, and looking forward to meeting you again tomorrow.
Disturbance in the force. Somebody knows that tomorrow is Star Wars Day. Good job, Alex Garcia. So we're going to wrap things up here for the first race of the weekend in the F4 Spanish Championship after a fantastic race at Circuito de Navarra. It really has been a fantastic opening race, but we should stress, of course, that all of the results coming into this one are provisional. Race Control has told us that they are looking into a lot of the track limits that could well have been exceeded through the course of the race. So don't be too surprised to see a slightly different result going into tomorrow's action. But it's certainly been a great season opener here in the Spanish F4 Championship. The cast are ready. They've had a fantastic battle, and we've got 2 great races to come tomorrow. Will it rain or will it be a sunny one? We were going to find out. But before we wrap things up, we will celebrate our drivers on the podium. We don't have time, I think, for the rookie podium, but we will tell you that it's going to be Chris Alfagali, 3rd position on the rookie podium, 2nd for Ian Eichmans, and a victory for Noah Montero, yet another son of a great racing driver, because, of course, Noah Montero carries on the family tradition from his father, Tiago, who was a very talented driver in his own rights in Formula One. He came 3rd in the 2005 US Grand Prix at Indianapolis for Jordan, their very last podium in Formula One racing. And of course, he was a great competitor and great challenger in the world of TCR for many years, up at the front end of the Touring Car World Championship. But now it is time to celebrate the performances of the drivers in the overall top 3. Griffin Cor's duo, Thomas Straven in 3rd and Jan Piotrowski in 2nd, the 2 closest men to our championship leader in terms of excellence and speed, but also René Lammers of the MP Motorsport team. He's got a great future ahead of him with the kind of performances we've seen from him. So the drivers getting ready for an exciting celebration of what has come before them in this first race. But these 3 drivers on the podium, they do seem to be the 3 drivers who are going to give us all of the excitement and all of the drama for this 2025 season. Very excited to see how many races they all take amongst them. In the first round of the championship, of course, they got a win each. Although in reality, of course, René Lammers crossed the line first twice. Make that 3 times now. But it's 2 victories for the moment, at least for René Lammers. As to the podium goes Thomas Straven, the Belgian talent, the man who started in pole position. He has to settle, unfortunately, for 3rd place in the first round of the championship. So very unfortunate indeed for Thomas Straven. 2nd position, though, for Jan Piotrowski. Good race from him and the Griffin Core team. Really put in a challenge to this man. But the man on the top step of the podium for the 2nd time this weekend, the 3rd time in reality, but the 2nd time officially, is the Dutchman. Celebration to the MP driver on the top step of the podium then. René Lammers has got the job done in fantastic style here at the Circuito de Navarra, and it will be the Dutch national anthem for both the driver and the team, René Lammers of MP Motorsport. A national anthem that became synonymous in the Formula One paddock in the last 4 seasons for Max Verstappen. But if his star does wane in 2025, at least there's another Dutchman in the F4 Spanish Championship who will put that anthem on the podium as many times as possible this year, with a fantastic start to the weekend here at Navarra. Race 1 goes his way. Great result for the team as well. MP Motorsport lifts yet another trophy. The Dutch team doing things by halves in Spanish motorsport. So much success across both the Euro Cup 3 and F4 Spanish Championship seasons. And of course, don't forget that the Euro Cup 3 season is kick-starting this month as well. In just a couple of weeks' time, we'll go racing for the first time in 2025 for them. That's where many of these drivers will be hoping to end up in the 2026 season. 1 or 2 of them may even end up getting their first taste of Euro Cup 3 mid-season. You never know which way the wind blows. Thomas Straven then picking up a 3rd position finish from pole position. It'll be a 2nd place finish for Jan Piotrowski. For my money, he seems to be the one who has the biggest possible chance of toppling René Lammers from the top step of the podium more often this year. He is dynamite when it comes to tyre management. And that's where Jan Piotrowski really comes alive in the second half of races. But René Lammers has the raw speed and the raw integrity and the great discipline within the MP Motorsport team. The message is clear after the first 4 races of after 2025, I should say, sorry. Catch me if you can, says René Lammers. And it's definitely going to be a tough mission for the competitors in the F4 Spanish Championship 2025 to do so. A good opening race then for the trio. These are the three drivers who will likely share the majority of the race victories in 2025, certainly if the first 2 weekends are anything to go by. But we're still halfway through one of those weekends. And as the drivers here at Navarra celebrate in style, they get busy with the fizzy here at Navarra. There's 2 great races to come tomorrow, though. Don't forget, 25 minutes plus 1 lap for race 2, 30 minutes plus 1 lap for race number 3. Still a whopping 43 points available for the 2 races that remain. The championship lead could still go anybody's way, but for the moment at least, it's the Dutchman, René Lammers, in command here at Navarra. We'll be back tomorrow for more great action. From myself, Jake Sanson, from my colleague Alex Garcia, and everybody here at the Killite Agency, we are back for more racing tomorrow at Navarra here in Spanish F4. Adios, amigos.